Thank you.
Hi, welcome to Your Aunties Could Never. I'm Auntie AK and I'm here with
Auntie Farah,
Auntie Nana,
Auntie Sade,
and
your little niece Nikki.
well
very
done.
good.
Yes. I just want to interrogate. Are you a niece? Really?
Yeah.
It looks like we like my TTs. So why
Okay,
not?
just
Niece
checking.
slash, younger cousin.
Yeah.
Always in the people's
In the
business.
listening to the big people, isn't it? Yeah.
Welcome.
Because I'll really that child.
How are you, my aunties and niece?
good man.
Yeah.
I'm good.
How are you?
Excellent.
Not too bad. I woke up feeling a little bit under the weather, but
Hey.
you have to keep it going. Did you say?
Yeah.
Don't spread nothing. Just keep my germs
We've got a
in.
busy weekend.
Makeup just flawless.
It's
Oh, thank
flawless.
you.
Yeah.
That's why I said to you, look, when she came in, I was like, every time I see you, it's like, no, this girl is beautiful.
We need some
thank
tutorials,
you.
please.
Oh, thanks. Even though when I was doing it this morning, I was like,
No, I can't tell.
Everybody is now like, okay, so 5 pieces away
Yeah.
from Nikki.
Really lovely.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks. How are you guys?
We're good.
Good.
We're
Just
good.
not enjoying the weather, but yeah.
Yeah,
Nice
that rain
to
was a
meet you,
lot.
man.
Listen.
We're such fans, so it's really nice to have you
Oh,
with
thank
us.
you so much.
Thank you for
I love
coming
you
on.
guys. Definitely. Thank you. Thanks.
Well, this is Your Aunties Could Know podcast for wonderful aunties and uncles and nieces and family everywhere. You get no nonsense, straight talking, real talk, lots of love and laughter and rudeness, I think, from us.
Some people are ruder than others.
Oh, most definitely. Some people are ruder than others. Most definitely. Definitely. Auntie Farah, warm us up with a little game, please.
So this game is Would You Rather,
Okay.
right?
Yeah. Let's go.
Would you rather, we can start with you, cousin.
Okay.
Would you rather wear the same clothes every day for the rest of your life,
Oh, Lord.
or only be able to wear your favourite thing once a year?
Once a year. Once a year. Yeah. Because I can wear the same clothes every damn day. What?
Yeah.
Hygiene.
My favourite thing once a year would be like,
Like your
once.
favourite, like say like you've got like your favourite bag ever. Like Auntie Sade's a bag whore.
Oh.
So like say like sorry. I didn't mean that in a negative way. Collector. Alright.
Do you know what I mean?
I mean it in a bad way, but yeah. Like she is like a designer freak. Let me carry on.
Okay.
And don't think that is helping. Just
In this current climate, freak.
I don't even mean it in a negative way. That's
We are as where we are in 2022. That you can no longer use these words.
Auntie Sade is a designer connoisseur. Okay?
In this current climate, I disagree with connoisseur.
I thought you were going to say a designer order or something. I was going to say something else.
In all honesty, it was really hard for me to just say connoisseur. But, for example,
Yeah.
you've got like so many bags that you love. You've got shoes that you love.
Hey.
Okay.
But yeah, once a year isn't bad.
No,
And then every day the same outfit. Come on, who's
Yeah,
going to do
who's gonna wear the
that?
same? Gonna wear the same clothes every day?
Like Bart Simpson.
No.
Cartoon character. Am I a cartoon? That's what you're saying.
It's true. The Simpsons never changed.
They never changed their clothes.
Cartoons
Most
don't
cartoons
either, and
don't.
that's
Cartoons
why this
don't.
new cartoon that Kid Cudi's done, bit of background.
Oh, yeah,
that's
it's
why-
really good.
That's why they changed
Changed
clothes because
clothes,
he was
yeah.
like, that's unrealistic. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a real life cartoon though. It's more like it's like, even though, okay, yeah.
But yeah,
That's
he wanted it, and that's
interesting.
why
It
he got
doesn't
Virgin to
exist.
do the fashion
Yeah.
in it
What do
because he
you-
wanted it to
Oh.
be realistic.
Can you explain
Next-
that statement though?
I know because I knew what
What
I
is a
meant.
real life cartoon?
I knew what I meant because
Okay.
it's an animated film where it's like a real life. It's more like a film than an animation, a situational animation, like a sitcom animation. So that's why it's more like it makes sense that they change their clothes.
But there's other cartoons like that.
No, I know, but that's why I said it was a statement I made out loud.
Anyway,
I knew what I
next.
meant.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, our producer told you to.
Yeah.
Would you
You guys leave me alone.
would you rather
Yeah.
never be able to cream your skin?
Oh god. No, whatever it is. No. Yeah.
Or brush your teeth.
Or never be able to brush your teeth?
Was it? Oh my god!
No, I'm brushing my teeth. I'm brushing my
I'm
teeth.
brushing my teeth. My mouth can't see.
I'm brushing my teeth.
Brush my teeth.
Then we have cracks.
So, yeah,
like,
maybe
Your skin is gonna be
cracked.
Well, you say cream.
I'd rather have. I'd
You
rather
can
have
put other
crack heel
things.
backs.
I could put butter on it.
Moisturise.
You can't cream yourself ever.
No.
No, I'd rather have crack heel back than hot breath I'm sorry.
Let them have steak.
But your
Not
face
just
is
him,
gonna
but
look
it's not just heel back though. Like as a
Face.
black person, you know,
Your
like what
face is
happens.
gonna
if
be-
And you're saying
you
never
can
brush your
You
teeth
can
ever.
simply just not wash your hands, yeah, and you're ashy.
Wait, I've got a loophole.
Go.
You chew charcoal, you can chew chewing stick, you're not brushing your
You
teeth.
can use mouthwash.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
I cream my skin.
And you can still floss.
I was gonna say you can use a
Floss.
cleanser
Okay.
spray.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, use a
Cream
cleanser
skin.
spray
Yeah,
and
that's
rub it
all-
into your
If we
skin.
can do
Yeah.
others.
No, you
Right.
can't moisturize. You can't.
Oh,
But you can
damn.
put oil, right? That's
can't
what
No, that's not
moisturise.
moisturising.
Nothing
It's
to
oily.
say that.
It's oily.
Stop
It's
being her.
moisturising.
Stop being her. That's what she does.
Yes,
Well,
true,
like,
you are doing it, okay.
You are. You're doing it. She is.
Nana, come off the playground.
Yeah.
No! I stand up for myself. I know. You're always like, yeah. It's you.
I was
Get up.
absolutely
Get
a
up.
girl. What a
Fucking girl.
go. Yeah, I was that girl.
Yeah. Would you? 100%.
Yeah, I was. Sorry. I can't help it.
Go on.
So what was that? Like,
I'm brushing my teeth.
you're brushing your teeth still? Oh, I'm creaming my skin.
I'm creaming my skin.
There's a lot of alternatives to like actually using a physical brush to
Cream my skin.
to brush.
I think I'll just exit society.
Can't have another option. Pick one. Last one.
Okay. Last one. Would you rather always look really pissed off, no matter how hard you try to be friendly?
Some people have that.
Some people
Rest in
do.
business. I mean,
Or
standard.
always be smiling, even when you're pissed off.
No. Let me have a piss off face.
I kind of have that affliction, so.
Do you know what people think? I always have like a resting bitch face
Yeah,
anyway,
same.
so
Yeah.
that wouldn't be a
It's
change
not
to
a
me.
problem.
Because like if I'm not talking, like for me, I'm like ha, but then they're like, no, your face is really push up. I'm like, really? So sometimes in certain situations, I'll sit there like,
Really trying to smile.
Yeah,
same.
but same. I have to make a conscious effort to be like, because otherwise I just look vexed, and I'm not vexed. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm fine.
yeah, I'm probably
Same.
I'm quite
Yeah.
smiley naturally. You're not the
Not
same.
same. I'm saying same.
Which one
My
are you?
residual
Oh,
same was with
okay.
Farah.
You just wanted to speak when I was speaking.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Same.
What's new?
I literally can't help it. You're such an instigator.
I was actually in my mind was like, don't do it, and then it didn't
Oh,
stop.
what did you say? Don't do it.
I said to myself, don't do it.
Auntie Farah, who are you welcoming to the family?
Okay, so I would like to welcome to the family Lil Sims. For a plethora of reasons, but the latest one is that she won the Mercury Prize for Best Album.
Yeah.
And she did. What you mean, girl?
Busy.
Oh, yeah, real busy.
9 till 9.
She's been making us that money. Anyway,
Yeah,
Lil
right.
Sims, she won them us. Lil Sims won the Mercury Prize, and I'm just glad that she was recognised because the album is amazing. I feel that she is an inspiration to her generation and to generations above and below her.
Yeah.
Because what she, her music is really, it's from the heart, and it, it's just like. She's written it herself, and she put a lot into this album. She's very vulnerable, but she talks about black empowerment, black women supporting each other, and I just absolutely love her as a person as well. She's always very humble in her interviews. She's always makes sure she praises the people that have come along the way and the people that she's worked with. So just shout out to Lil Sims. I really love what you're doing. Keep at it, and congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Guys, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Don't forget to add your positive reviews to all the platforms that you find your aunties
Five
could
stars.
never on. Positive reviews.
5 stars.
5 stars always, everywhere. We have a Patreon.
Our tiers are £5, £10 and £25.
Pick your sweetness and you get more aunties, more love and more advice and more common sense from us.
And you can even ask us a question, and we will discuss it on
On the podcast
Yes.
Patreon.
Send us dilemmas because
We're
we
also
are
on TikTok.
aunties.
Did you know that?
We are on TikTok. TikToking.
That's real auntie, innit? Like,
the TikTok.
Auntie Charlotte's like, oh Lord.
she's like, you're embarrassing me! Why are you so embarrassing?
But we are on TikTok. We should actually do it. Is there a TikTok dance? Like TikToking?
Is it?
No, like is there a dance
Like
called
actual
TikTok?
as in
No, like
TikTok.
no, not the
Oh,
but as in for TikTok. Is there
An
TikTok
actual
dance?
TikTok dance?
I don't
It
know.
doesn't work like that.
No,
We can do.
Auntie Shade
We
is
can do.
super embarrassed right
It
now.
doesn't matter. Embrace
She's
it.
like, oh my god, why don't you know?
Just follow us on the TikToker. Like,
On the TikTok.
Get TikToking! TikToking! Are you?
On that TikTok.
Real quick!
Can we move on? Yes.
Let's move on to what have we heard. That's where we get into the news and culture of the day. Auntie AK, what have you heard? Well, I have heard that Jamaica has banned music and TV glorifying crime.
Love it.
Let me talk about this. Let me open up my story. So this information has come from BBC, though it's everywhere. This is where my source is. Jamaica's Broadcasting Authority has banned content that glorifies illegal activity, such as drug and gun use. The new rules cover TV and radio, including music, and list specific topics that are off limits: scamming, drug abuse, and the illegal use of firearms cannot be promoted, and swearing or near-sounding replacements are also banned. But the strict nature of the ban has been criticised by some artists who argue music is a reflection of life. It comes amid high levels of violent crime in Jamaica. In 2021, the island nation had one of the highest murder rates in Latin America and the Caribbean. And their broadcasting agent says the use of public airwaves to broadcast songs that glorify illegal activity could give the wrong impression that criminality is an accepted feature of Jamaican culture and society. Discuss, my people. You've now been banned. You've now got Aunties banned in Jamaica.
You know what? I think I found it very interesting because I only knew some parts of that story, so for you to explain it like that, I find it very interesting because I feel like whether they block it or not, like some films that I've seen and programs, for example, let's take Top Boy, the one of the seasons of Top Boy where Deshane was in Jamaica, all we saw was violence. If you think about Shotters, all we saw was violence. And there's another movie I cannot think of at the moment, but then there were scenes in Jamaica, all there was exchanges of guns and you know what they're referring to in that article. But I kind of feel like whether you ban it or not, unfortunately the world we live in now, violence is everywhere. Violence is everywhere. Even the countries that are quote unquote quiet, violence is everywhere. So I don't know if them doing that, if it's gonna actually work as much, because you can't stop a dark mind from being a dark mind.
There is that.
Are they banning only music that is like Jamaican? So what about like rap music and all the rest of it?
Well, I mean, it says music in Jamaica, so I'm assuming it's their music, but I guess it must be
That's the thing,
if
like
they got
international artists,
anything that's
just
on
been like,
the
we're
airwaves.
not putting it on our proper airways, like our commercial airways.
That's interesting because what are they going to play?
I would like to see it though.
I would like to see it.
I would like to.
If you think, go on. Sorry.
No, I would like to see how it pans out, because it would be like, it's like an experiment almost kind of thing, and actually see if there's a difference. Do you know what I mean? Because everyone always, one on the artsy side will always say like, oh, it's just a reflection of life. You can't blame music, you can't blame films for creating for the spike in criminality in society. And if they're actually banning it, we'll see to what degree and everything like that. And if you see a drop, then that is very interesting discovery. Especially if it's countrywide. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think it's will become more peaceful.
But what about those countries where they're under a dictatorship anyway, and there's certain things that aren't played? Isn't there still violence and stuff going on?
I think it's not about
dictatorship, but
I'm not saying that Jamaica's trying to be a dictatorship, but I'm just saying, like, in those countries where, like, they control the state-run media, and there's still violence.
But I think it's a very different thing, because they are specifically saying we are not putting violence in front of people to listen to or see, and to see if it is like art imitating life or life imitating art. I actually think it's a brilliant move. I'm not
anti it, I just want to explain it.
I want to see it, but give it like a good 10 years to study. Was there a drop? Did we see a shift in what society is because we stopped showing them violence?
I think there's never ever been a time where it's actually happened. We push back so defensively, like it's freedom of speech, it's the way we live, and I don't think it's about saying. I don't think it takes the responsibility of governments to sort out the poverty crises and sorting out the disparity between these, especially the environments where this music is supposedly from. There's nothing to say that these governments don't fix up society, but we have to somehow, especially when you get to a certain age, that our music has, I say our music, I'm just what I'm speaking about, that our music has sometimes excessive glorifications of violence, sexual degradation, and then our TV content is also too much at times, and films and stuff like that. So why not try this tactic and move and see what happens. Because also when it comes to creativity, we're always saying, it's as if to say we're dumbing ourselves down, that if we can't talk about violence, what else are we going to talk about? There's so much we can talk about.
Yes, there is, but I think what I'm getting to is it's interesting that they've just said violence, because what about misogyny and all of that?
No, exactly.
They're not saying that you can't talk about being a gallus and you fuck bare gal and
exactly.
That was one of the comments I saw. They was like, they can still talk about hockey,
you can talk about gal being
absolutely.
and all of that stuff. So why not go the whole hog?
I would have liked to have heard like them say what they're doing within the communities first before they went to let's just cut all of this off TV. Like, are they gonna stop things on streaming services? Are they gonna ban certain things in like schools? What happens when children are talking about it in school? You know, stuff like that. What are you doing in the communities? But then you've gone straight to the media to say that that's the only influence. And
I think it's got to be walk and talk at the same time. We've got to have everything laid out, because I think we push. I say we, just not necessarily everybody in this room, but we push back immediately. Creatives push back and say no, that's not fair. But actually, have we tried it? And why are you so against actually exploring other things to talk about? It doesn't mean to say you can't. And also, you can still tell this hard narrative that you've lived this life, but it doesn't have to be literally bang, 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 shoot, 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 dead, 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 and drug. It doesn't have to be just
also as well.
Exactly. Or whatever. It doesn't have to be all of that stuff.
I think that also as well, I was going to say, it's just like, there is this, I think people forget, especially in the music community, that their story isn't the average story, but it's being pumped out, although it is. Do you know what I mean? And although, of course, we need to give, different narratives, everything needs a space and everything like that, but at the same time, like, you just can't, until we do tests like this, do you know what I mean? We can't prove that it's not harmful.
Exactly.
I'm not against it. I just really would like them to add misogyny.
I think so too. I think that's a fair point.
100%.
Maybe it will do, because it's like when you're actually in Jamaica, the majority of the island is very conservative. So maybe that will filter through.
Not every Jamaican is a yardie.
Exactly.
It's so far from it actually. So I think it's a good move, and maybe as an island of so many millions, that will spread around the world like the music has. It'll change a lot of things.
I think so.
I love it.
Auntie Farah, what have you heard?
Okay, I want to talk about the exes, because the exes are talking. So at the moment, Stormzy is on a couple interviews talking about Maya Jama and how losing her is the biggest loss a man can have. And then you've got Ashanti clapping back at Irv Gotti in Diddy's new song. So I wanted to ask you guys, what do you think about this? Do you think that they should continue to talk about this? Hold on, I actually had a real phase question. Here we are. Do you think exes should keep their business private, or is it okay to publicly talk about it? Do you think it's okay for the ex who messed up to publicly discuss their mistakes, or do you think they should draw a line under it if they can't discuss it with their ex?
Draw a line under it.
Wait, what?
Because I think draw a line under it.
No, you're basically saying it's under their opinion whether who messed up. Who determines who messed up?
No, but if it's publicly, so if in a public forum, right? So Irv Gotti publicly come out and been talking about Ashanti, right? Do you think that he should have done that?
No.
Do you think that it's okay that Ashanti's clapped back at him? Stormzy is all of a sudden their relationship was quite private. Everyone knew they were dating, but their relationship was quite private. Now he's coming out and talking about it. Maya Jama just wants to be Maya Jama. Do you think that he should just draw a line under it? She's not anymore.
They broke up.
Really?
Just in a minute.
I thought that was the rumour that was wrong.
Really?
They are.
Oh, I didn't know.
Well, so it seems.
Okay.
But I think just draw a line under it. I think from Irv Gotti, definitely shut the hell up. I think Stormzy, if you're asked a question, because I think he was asked a question, unless he gave this information willingly, he was asked a question and he was answering, and he was just saying that actually reflectively, this, when men mess up and losing someone the love of your life is a big loss that men take. So it's actually more like a philosophical response to a question that is, I think, it's less like him just talking business for business sake. However, I think especially if you're the person who's messed up, be mindful of the person that you messed up with, and keep talking, bringing their name into your space, because especially when in the public eye, especially when you have a new product to promote. So you have to be really mindful that doesn't get thrown into the promo of your new album, your new venture, because then the lines are blurred. Are you actually talking out of remorse and responsibility, or can that get mixed up? And I'm not saying that about Stormzy is, because he's a very private person, and I think he does take time and thinks about what he says and where he says it. But in the whole bigger scheme, when, especially as we spoke about before, where someone takes a snippet of something and then remixes it to suit themselves and their narrative, it's really a slippery slope. So my thing is, if you fucked up on an ex, don't mention anything. Don't talk about them.
I think that's just what men do. It's always the men that do that. With Irv and Ashanti, I think Irv, he needs to be quiet now. Like, because I find him so cringy. Okay, that's your truth. That's your side. But then he's gone too far. Like his Drink Champs thing, he spoke about her. Like, it was going on an hour, and I was just like, yo, shut up. I even stopped watching it. I actually stopped watching it. Like, let it go. And Ashanti has ignored this for so long. So for her to clap back in the way that she did, I think that's the best way she knew how. Stormzy, on the other hand, like, I feel like it must have been some sort of therapy for him, because remember, he don't talk about his life. So I feel like both scenarios, they're very different. But as for Irv, please, both of them, draw a line underneath it, because this is what men do. Men are embarrassing. Like, they will do the most to you. A whole year later, wow, I really messed up, because they messed up with the next one. The next year, they're going to talk about the one that they messed up with after you. So because they don't know how to take accountability, and that's what this is. You can take accountability. Okay, cool. Leave it there. Don't talk about me again. Don't go and sing about me somewhere else, because I don't want to hear it now.
I think that's my thing. Because, as you said, the woman has moved on and she's like getting on with her life, and it's just like sometimes I feel like you're just drawing them back into it. I understand about Stormzy, and I agree. Like he was asked the question. He is usually very private, but I think sometimes they do need to consider where the other person is at that stage in their life.
Have you guys not seen his new video?
Have you not
seen that the girl looks exactly like Maya?
She doesn't look like Maya Jama at all, but it's just giving people immediately draw.
I was very jealous watching that video because I love Stormzy.
You wanted to be the girlfriend.
This is a source.
I feel like
I like the video.
The video
just the woman thing.
It's exactly so. No, it's like he's doing exactly that. Either she's engaged or not engaged, she moved on, and she never spoke about their relationship. She just went about her business. Stormzy, I think it was maybe 2 years ago on Breakfast Club, spoke about how Maya Jama was the love of his life, and that he's lost her and it was his fault. Why are you talking about it again now? And why do we have this video again? Like, let her go, because if she was going to take him back, she would have done.
And the thing is, if you take it away from celebrity men, they will go on radio shows, podcasts, whatever to do it. Now, your everyday man, they will go and talk about it to every single person that you know, your friends, your colleague, the butcher down the street that knows you, like, to be like, to stop you the road, and then, but these times, the person that you've hurt, the person that you've offended, I don't know how you feel, so why are you telling everybody else? I told you men are embarrassing. This is what
I don't know, I feel a bit differently, I think. Like, I just don't know if you could control that, do you know what I mean? Because things hit different people at different places. Don't get me wrong, Irv Gotti, he's a creepy guy. Like, I'm not, do you know what I mean? Like, I do generally feel like he needs to shut up. Because what he was saying was so disrespectful. Do you know what I mean? That kind of thing. And it was just literally just seemed like he's just going to use her again to promote another product, basically. Do you know what I mean? So I really take issue with him on that. But Stormzy, although he's obviously, we're in the UK, he's beloved here. Do you know what I mean? So maybe we have a bit more sympathy for him and give him a bit more space and everything. But I don't think he was ever being disrespectful. I think he was just explaining things from his life and what had happened, what he felt like. And also as well, like, even just thinking from a personal perspective, no one could ever tell me that I can't talk about my experience. Do you know what I mean? And I think it's just, obviously, okay, we're on a podcast and stuff, but it's not like we've got huge, massive platforms at the moment, at least. Do you know what I mean? But like, I would take issue with anyone telling me that I can talk about my experience, like, from any perspective. And so, yeah, I think it's intention and context.
I agree a bit, but I don't to an extent, because that is also her life. And so him talking about her, you don't know how her fiance takes that on like
even though
their security.
But even when they went
like, it's
together,
her choice whether she talks about it or not. No one can silence her. So if she chooses to speak about it, and if she gives a totally different narrative than what we've heard from Stormzy, that's her choice.
No, I'm talking about Stormzy talking about her and losing her, and she's moved on, and how that affects her new relationship. Like just how his security is, like, because it's like your ex is constantly talking about you and after you.
It's
like
unfortunate they're in the public eye because they think
it's not constant. It's true.
Do you know what I mean? And it has coincide with a release. Yes, it has. We don't know if they've had a conversation. We don't know because obviously she's been announced to host Love Island. It's press. We know how this machine works. We just don't know. Do you know what I mean? That's not to take away. I'm not saying that anyone's an angel or whatever kind of thing, but I just don't think you can tell anyone that they can't speak about their experience.
No, I hear that, but I just think my main thing is just be mindful of the other person when you're speaking about your experience. I think that's my main thing.
And I think for us watching from the outside, we don't know what, as we're kind of maybe saying, we don't know what conversations they've had. She might be fine with it, and we're doing all this talking.
She came back and said, when we broke up, I was listening to K-Trap. That's what she came out and said. She did. Well, she didn't say him. She said a couple of years ago when I went for a breakup, I just didn't want to listen to that music, so I was listening to K-Trap.
That is so funny.
It's funny though.
Alright, Auntie Nana, what have you heard?
Okay.
It was so
weird. Sorry, I don't know. It's fine.
Yeah, it is. Okay, so what I've heard is Stephen Bartlett recently has an article out in Cosmopolitan, slightly older now, but he is criticising Gen Z. And he's criticising them for their lack of resilience and just their work ethic, and that they're not made of the stuff of previous generations. I wanted to get you guys' thoughts on that.
Are you a Gen Z?
No, I'm a millennial.
Yes, I guess she's closer to that side of things than we are then.
But the thing about Gen Z is I hear what he's saying, but maybe like his delivery might have been a bit off. I can't remember what he said word for word because I did read it. But is he really wrong though? Because the thing about Gen Z, everything is fast money. Like they want what they see, they want it right now. But then I work with young people outside of content creating. I do work with young people, and they have such big aspirations. Like I can't help but just be like, yes, I love that you think that way. But then it's not the traditional jobs. It's not the traditional, I want to be a social worker, I want to be a teacher. Is that I want to have a lash business, I want to be an influencer, or I want to be a rapper. There's nothing wrong with those things, but then it's like, well, all the traditional roles, like, you know, they don't see them as, you know, having a big career in those traditional roles. And I think it's because of just the world we live in. I think it's because of social media. They want what they can see, and also their millennial older siblings, aunties, cousins, whoever, showing them I could go and see my niece or my nephew with like a nice bag, or like my trainers. Oh, I want that, I want this. They think whatever we do is so easy. They don't see the hard work that goes behind it, because of like how fast paced everything on social media is. And also, let's not forget, there's so many negative influences out there, like, you know, the kids who are on the roads that may influence their friends who don't know about that life. You know, so I think that's just what that is for me.
It's the expectation that everything's going to happen now for them. And I don't want to, I am an auntie, so if I sound like an auntie, it is what it is. But I think there's an element of, it's two things. It's like I really rate the younger generations not taking it. We're not having it. You're not going to have me. I think one of the clapbacks was we're not going to be suffering for our job. If you come to make me suffer, I'm not going to turn up. There's an element of, because there are generations who just suffered through their roles, didn't think there were opportunities to move elsewhere. They just stayed in a job and were just literally worker bees, just working with no joy, nothing, and no substance to their life. However, there's a reality. There's someone I was speaking to recently, and she's having this conflict at work. And one thing that the young lady said to me was that, I'm brilliant at what I do, so why are they asking me ABC? And I said, you may be brilliant at what you do, but are you brilliant for these people in this role? And you can be, and she goes, I don't want to put myself down or degrade myself for this job. It means, why do you look at it as so black and white that you're degrading? Because they've asked you to do something to maybe just basically verify her work with what their structure is. She felt offended. I'm like, it's not that. There's also everyday rules of a job. And you do have to answer to someone. And yes, the world celebrates you, and you've got to love yourself and be proud of the work that you do. But you also have to remember there are rules and structures to the everyday workplace. You can't just be the boss, because society says you're a boss, and then all these empowerment memes that you've got in your mind, it just, you've got to remember there's a reality to it.
And the reality is putting in the work.
I like that was good.
The reality is putting in the work, and that's what they need to do. You need to be up on time, you need to show up on time to places so that people can actually trust you to have those roles, and you need to grow from somewhere. That's what they don't understand, that you all start from somewhere. Definitely. And that's what Gen Z need to understand.
I agree, and I think I've said something similar on this show, that I just don't think that Gen Z generally, in my experience in terms of hiring young people, like deal with stress well in general. I think that is like a major issue, but I think also as well at the same time they have a wider vocabulary to explain how they're feeling, when they're feeling it, and in the moment, and all their processes and everything like that. But maybe us and other generations didn't have at the time. So I think like there's a number of things happening. I think like also as well, when we were in education, there wasn't as many options. So to go to your point about wanting to be different things, because they can, because they have the opportunity to, because they don't have to be pushed into social health and social care. They can actually do other things that are on the internet and create money for themselves, and they can see the model of that happening. Like I think like that has probably been one of the most powerful things that's like interrupted almost their growth in a sense. So I don't blame them in a sense, and I think they should definitely take advantage of the opportunities for sure. Do you know what I mean? Because it could change the playing field forever. Do you know what I mean? And this generation definitely have the sight to do it, whether they have the absolute tenacity. And I think, and also my other point is just like, what I would like them to do is just learn from other generations. Just learn that actually it does take hard work. It does take time. It does, or in some cases it doesn't always have to take time actually, to be honest. If you're smart or talented enough to know what you're doing, to be in that right moment, to take advantage of the opportunity. But I just think that there's a lot of learnings, there's a lot of truth in what Stephen was saying, but I think that there was maybe a lack of sensitivity to that generation.
But maybe that's kind of what he's saying though, isn't it? That they're too sensitive. Like there has to be a point where you're like, we got to get stuck in to make our mark.
But it's not their fault that they're too sensitive, because as we've kind of even seen, exactly, because you see in schools everyone's getting a trophy. Why? It's not reality, but that is what they were brought up on.
Like everyone's a winner. Everyone's
freaking hate that shit.
I do as well.
That's rubbish.
Seriously,
that happened. Like we're all gonna win at the egg and spoon race. No, you drop your egg.
Somebody has to win.
Someone's gonna cry.
And just an example when it comes to, sorry, we need to wrap up. The hairdressing, because it was just a conversation I had with my daughter about hairdressing businesses, especially the Instagram hairdressers, where you are now telling people to have your hair washed, parted, non-green. What are you doing? And it offends me, because I'm a hairdresser. The training and development to become when I see people break out, what do you call it? What's the gel? Gummy, edge control to put at the root of a plait. You're not a hairdresser.
No, you can't say that.
I can.
No, but it actually does make
it doesn't.
Yes,
it doesn't. No, it's a cheat, because you know what? When that cream wears out,
it's a development.
When that cream wears out, which I've seen time and time again, your hair is looser.
No, but you need to have the right type, because it isn't the same.
But if you don't know how to grip and you're hiding your talent with the grease, that's different.
Grip can pull people's hair out.
No, I'm not saying grip as in time. I'm not saying grip as in time break the hair. I'm saying know how to do hair and don't cheat with cheekbones.
I get what you're saying, but it isn't. If it's done right, I think if it's right, it actually really is very effective, and it really does help.
Yes,
because your hair is already good.
How did we get here?
Let's go to my point on Gen Zs. Anyway, so I think what the issue really is with their generation is it's us. It's actually like a lot of the Gen Xers who are bringing up that are bringing up the Gen Zs. Most people who are in Generation Z are being brought up now by 40 to 50 year olds, and because we are like, I don't like how I was reared, we're being very soft
on them
and really livid on them, and being like a mollycoddling, and then it gets to, oh my god, they can't sustain themselves.
Exactly.
That's really the problem. We need to be talking to our peers. You have to be tough on them sometimes, and loving on the other side as well.
It's finding the balance, because also it's like you got to suffer, because I suffered.
And also as well, just the last point, it's just like, remember these kids nowadays, they don't even play outside.
Exactly.
We play outside. Do you know what I mean?
That's
what I'm talking about, that social interaction. They don't know a lot.
Yeah. All right, Auntie Charlie, can we fit in what you've heard? No.
No, we can't. Sorry.
Okay.
Oh wow,
We're strapped for time.
Okay, our producer said no. It was about Nicki Minaj, wasn't it?
You're just
I'm just trying to get it in. Yeah.
Nicki Minaj and Latto were beefing, and I wanted to discuss elders and youngers, but yeah. Okay, so my story is about Nikki and Latto. Basically, they're beefing online because I think one of their songs got moved into a different category.
Nicki's
song got moved into a different category at the Grammys, and Lotto's didn't, and they're basically a similar sounding type or a similar kind of genre of song. But Nikki done a subliminal, right?
Yeah.
Well, she used Latto as an example.
Yeah.
And then Latto clapped back.
Yeah, because Nikki was liking shots set towards her. Yeah,
basically.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to know, what do you think? Do you think Nikki, as an elder, does she have the right, because she's an elder, to kind of say what she's saying in that? Because she's the undisputed.
Do you know what? I'm a Nicki Minaj stan.
Okay.
No. Nikki.
Yeah.
My auntie. But I didn't like all of that.
Okay.
She could have just stopped it. Her point is extremely valid. Like K Michelle made a point like that a couple years ago on the Breakfast Club, and her point is so valid.
Make the point quickly.
Because here's the thing, like my song's been moved to the pop category. Latto's is the same thing. Fantasies is a pop song, and you remixed it to put a rap verses on a pop song. It's a pop song. Why is it not the same? But then it's just the continuous catty back and forths. They're recording each other on the phone. Come on, like it's just long. Leave it alone. Like you made your point. Let the argument go.
But who do you think should let it go? Nikki or Latto?
I think Nikki should have let it go because she came on her Instagram live, she did her tweets, she added the Grammys, she wasn't hiding her words. Leave it. You've put it out there. Leave it alone. But then the ongoing chiming and you're uploading all this stuff, your DMs have come onto Twitter and let it go. Like I'm sure someone had somewhere to be. This is so
I didn't like it. And I don't like Nikki battling with women all the time. It doesn't help.
That is my problem. Absolutely my problem. That Nikki, she's the bigger person. She's always talking about I'm the one that started this shit. You've all got me to pay respects to, blah blah blah. But she doesn't ever give that back, and that's my problem. Stop fighting women. If you have a problem, you said what you said about the Grammys. Let it done. Leave it there. That's it.
Agreed. Let's go. All right. Auntie's getting your business. 1, 2, 3.
Why have you got time for this?
Auntie's getting your business. Auntie's getting your business. Auntie's getting your business.
But why did you look at
No, because this is like torture.
Honestly, it's funny.
Welcoming our cousin niece Nikki. We're going back to get to your business.
So please, firstly, I apologise for these two. Please,
she enjoyed it. She laughed at everything.
She laughed at you, not with you. Anyway, could you please introduce yourself and tell us what you do? What you do and where'd you come from?
Right, so, no, I'm joking, I won't do it. So, my name's Nikki, I'm from East London, I'm Ghanaian. I'm Ghanaian. I'm a presenter, podcaster, and one of 6 on the Borough section on the Shea Borough.
Go on.
Yeah.
And a part of Alani's podcast as well.
Yes, and also, how can I forget about Laid Bear? Where people come for me all the time on the internet for Laid Bear. Yes, I'm one of 3 on Laid Bear.
Lovely. Okay. Alright, tell us a bit about your journey. Where are you from? Where did you grow up? And what were your cultural influences as a young girl?
Oh wow. So my family were Ghanaian. I always identify as Ghanaian since I was a young girl. I grew up in Newham specifically. I still live in Newham, in the hood. I still live in the hood.
We're neighbours.
We neighbours. My journey is that when I turned 25, I was like, I wanted to be a presenter for as long as I could remember, but it's probably one of the biggest things I've ever kept to myself. And then it was like, one day after a tough breakup, I said, nobody's gonna silence my voice. I'm gonna do it.
Aww.
So I sort of like went behind like everyone's backs, like didn't tell nobody what I was doing, searching. I was on Twitter, I was like, guys, I want to be a presenter, can someone help me? And from there I just rolled on meeting people, going to networking events. Last year I started my own podcast, So Nikki podcast. I've done radio, I've done like events. I'm really proud of like that journey because it's something that I thought I couldn't do. A lot of people who I thought would support me didn't. So I can't like, it is part of my journey because that did really affect me, and the people that really helped me, like some of my cousins and stuff, like they've really helped me come to this point now. Like even being called to come here is like so amazing. Like I was so excited when you guys messaged me. No, honestly, I really was. So like that's part of my journey. There's been highs and lows, but then right now I'm just enjoying the highs of it all.
I love that.
And in terms of like, so you wanted to be a presenter from a young age, like what was your inspiration? Like, was there someone that you looked up to that you wanted to emulate? Like,
Yes, so I remember when I was 10, I asked for a CD player from my dad, and it had, of course, a radio function tape cassette. Jesus Christ. Cassette. And I used to listen to Kiss. Well, back then it was Kiss 100. It's just Kiss now. Every morning, I remember listening to people like Neve, and then my cousins brought me in on Choice FM, which is now Capital Extra. I used to listen to people like Kojo and Max, and I always used to love those interactions. And I can't lie, when I was in uni, I probably used to call it into the competitions. You know, I'm not joking. I would call in, do the little phone-ins, have a chit chat. I always love the interaction because I'm like, these people, I don't know why, I just found them so cool. Like, how they used to just enjoy speaking about anything. And I've always been a talker. And I'm thinking, do you know what? It would be so fun to do that. But then for me, those types of jobs, even when we're talking about Gen Z, those types of jobs, it was just a dream. I'm thinking, little old me, like, how do I even do that? So I just kind of just kept it to myself.
So you mentioned So Nikki, your blog. What was it like? What was the premise of it, and why did you stop doing it?
So this is so that was like my gateway into being a presenter. So I remembered, I was thinking, every sort of door that I try to go through, everyone is big, everyone's popping. And then I thought of myself, I'm thinking, I'm up and coming too. There's so many people who are aspiring rappers, DJs, singers. Let me focus on those people. So I started DMing people who were doing like events for like independent artists and stuff like that. So I'd showcase them on sonicky.com. So I continued doing it, but the reason why I haven't stopped, I'm actually preparing to bring it back actually, but it's going to take some time because I've got a lot on at the moment. But then the reason why is because I've got so many other opportunities, and that blog, I didn't realise that people would actually like it. Even though it didn't look the best, I'm not that creative with those sort of things. All I knew is that I'm going to this event, I'm going to write it, but people really liked it, and it helped me get to radio.
I respect your hustle, man. Seriously.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely thinking outside the box when you approach things. I love that. So you've already mentioned that you're on 2 podcasts as a co-host, and then you have your own podcast as well. How are you finding juggling all of that?
Do you know what? Honestly, I don't know. I take everything day by day because I also work 2 jobs and I'm also studying. So
everything you do, which are the podcasts and what you're working on. Let's break it down. Let's get a list.
So I have a Monday to Friday 9 to 5 job that I do, which I'm also studying to be a systemic practitioner, which is family therapy basically. So I've been in that field for a long time since I finished uni. So and my second job, I work with young people in the community with social and emotional difficulties. I've mentioned my systemic practice course, and then I've got my podcast that I do ever so often. I have Laid Bare that we record sometimes weekly, sometimes bi-weekly. Everybody's busy. And then we have the Borough section, which we record once every 2 weeks.
So how did you actually get onto those 2 podcasts?
So with Oloni's podcast, shout out to Oloni, I love her.
We love her too.
Yeah, she's actually a joy to work with. Like we laugh so much. So Oloni put out a tweet one day saying that I need someone to send me, well, just people send me 30 seconds of like your best sex stories. And a friend of mine sent it to me. She said, can you send her your stories and tell her your friends are tired of listening to you talk about it? And then I wasn't gonna do it because I couldn't remember I don't think it was clear what it was for. So I did it anyway, and she DM'd me the following, like, no, not the following day, maybe 2 days later. She was like, hey, like, do you mind if we have a chat? And I was like, yeah, sure, here's my number. She was like, do you mind coming on Laid Bare? But then me and Oloni, our paths have crossed earlier on in life where we actually used to work in the same place. So when we're on the phone, she was like, wait, we did work together like that, and then she was like, oh my god, I didn't know, blah blah whatever. So it was kind of easy to build that rapport with her. So that's how I got into that podcast. As for the borough section, I was actually doing an event where I was doing interviews with artists, and one of the producers who I only just met on that day, he was like, yeah, I work for the Shade Borough. Oh, is it? Yeah, whatever. Oh, I want to do this show, would you come on? And people have approached me with things that I've seen as big and it's been taken away from me. So when he just chased it up, this is what the set's going to look like, it's going to be you plus 5 other people, come and do it. And I said, when it happens, cool. And then it actually happened, and I was like, damn, I'm on the Shade Borough.
I love that. Yeah. We always talk about the Shade Borough, like, who runs it?
That's still a mystery, by the way. It's still a mystery.
Is it male or female?
I actually don't know.
Look at that.
I've actually
And they'd kill her if she said it.
Alright, so you've gone viral twice, and one of the particular tips, you were talking about men eating arse. Why was that such a trigger?
Do you know what?
What were some of the comments like though? What's it been like being a viral babe?
For both of the videos, because I was talking about the same thing, but then it's like people were in the comment section saying that I'm encouraging people to spread bacteria. And I thought that was so funny, but then luckily I never saw any comments of like people coming for me personally. But here's the thing, like, men find sex as a topic, especially when women talk about it. I don't know why it's such a trigger for them. I'm thinking, grow up, stop being childish. Like, you know what you like. But then the whole eating arse thing is that I remember it was a Laid Bare episode with Hardy Caprio, and he said that, oh, when people are a bit horny, like, they go a bit too far, they're thinking about a bit too much. And it's true, because you know when you're horny, it's like, I want to do this, I want to do that. And then I must have said, oh yeah, that's how I ate arse for the first time. I was just literally thinking out loud, and I was like, yeah. And people in the comments were like, she's not gonna act like she didn't just say what she just said. And I was like, okay, cool, like, I don't mind, I've said it. Listen, my sister's seen it, I think my dad saw it as well. But because my dad actually engages in my content, my dad's very supportive. My dad's so supportive. But I think he was thinking, wait, what? And probably just skip by it. Good, let it say that way.
Some slang words.
So for me, it's like, guys like things that are, if you want to call it freak or a bit risque, but they never want to say it. But then they'll be in their group chats talking the most without talking the most. So you see, when guys try to hide away from those topics, I like to throw it at them, because it's like, stop pretending. If you don't like it, it's okay, but if you do, don't pretend that you don't, because me as a woman, you're side-eyeing me or thinking, oh, she's easy or she's this because she talks about her sexual preferences and the fact that she likes sex. Like, that means nothing to me. Like I said, grow up. I think that's why it's a trigger, because some men try to hide because they think if they're into certain things, they're gonna be judged by their group chat or their man them. And I'm thinking, you can't think of your man them more than you think about having sex with me. I think that's crazy.
That a little bit suspect?
That is.
It is. Like, when you think about it, actually, in the ratios, if you're thinking about what the man thinks of you, is that not a little bit?
Exactly. The whole thing you're trying to avoid is what you're endorsing.
Very wild. I was talking to someone the other day, and I was saying, I like how the fact that, like, men are more open about eating pussy now, because it used to be a thing, like, especially when we were coming up, it's like they didn't want to talk about it.
But they would outrightly say, oh, I don't
I'm
do
not a
that.
bowcat. Do you know how much men eat pussy? Like, and I just I just like the fact that they're more open with it now. So that's that.
But I guess this is the graduation.
Absolutely.
It's like the whole arse talk.
It is.
It's like it's moved on to that.
It has. Okay, so we all like a bit of drama. We all like a bit of tea. And you being, like, associated with the Shade Borough, and then its counterpart Shade Room, like, definitely are, like, at the forefront of, like, especially black culture, popular culture in particular. But both platforms have been criticised for being unhelpful to the black community, because of so many negative stereotypes. How do you console with that? How do you kind of balance that out for yourself?
For me, because I already have my opinions on those platforms, have I ever thought they were negative? No. And that, I'm being completely honest, the reason why people see it as negative is the things from the comment section, is the people that engage in, like, those platforms, engage with them, that can make it negative. There are some certain things, like, when they're posted, maybe sometimes it could be the wording of how some of those posts, because I've seen some posts on both platforms and I was like, huh? wait, what?
Yeah.
But when you go in the comments, that's when they're going crazy. Like, even on our show, the Borough section, we can put anything out there, something where we're just having a laugh, a topic that is seen as more serious, and people in the comments are just going crazy. And I'm like, what did we say that was that bad? But then for me, I just try to look past it, because I know that's not our intentions. Like, we're really just trying to inform people and hopefully also entertain people. That's all it is.
You do what we mentioned, like you're holding down so many things. What do you do in your downtime?
In my downtime, I like some wine. I chill in my living room, I have some wine, I have some shisha, eventually fall asleep. That's pretty much me in my downtime. That's literally all I do. I just spend my time indoors. I do go out and stuff, but then it's like, I don't really do like random going outs, because I'm like, I'm tired. I want to go to bed. But then if I'm invited to go somewhere, turn up, no problem. Like, if I've got the time, I'll do it. I always try to make time for that.
Cool.
Yeah.
So what's your end goal? What does success look like to you?
What does success look like to me? I feel like when I'm in a position where I definitely don't have to take on so much, because I feel like no matter what you do, I feel like for me right now in my life, this is my time just to do me. Like, I turned 30 in July, and since I turned 30, I don't know what it is, I just feel more alive, and I feel more focused. So I'm really just trying to do me. So what I'd like to do, I want to keep working with young people, I want to keep creating content. Eventually those things will mesh together. So once I finish my studies, I have a whole plan for myself, but then my end goal is to be in a position where I'm happy. I don't need to think about applying for a job in another year or 6 months. Like, opportunities will come and go, they will come and go, but then that's for me my end goal.
Do the young people that you work with ever see your content, and if so, what do they think of it?
Do you know what, I feel like sometimes maybe 1 or 2 of them have, but they just haven't said nothing. Like, even my second job that I started recently, working with like young people with social and emotional difficulties, one of our colleagues, he was like, I remember we were working together, and he just kept looking at me like, why is he looking at me like that? And then the following day when I saw him again, I know where I know you from, and I was thinking, you didn't say you knew me from anywhere. And then he went, so Nikki, and I was like, I don't know who she is. I don't know who that is, because I do try to keep them very separate. Like, I don't really talk about what I do with them. But do you know what's funny? My manager at my 9-to-5 job, one day, it was funny, I was going to the studio to record Laid Bare. I get a message from her. I'm thinking, why are you messaging me at this time of the evening? And then all I saw was, oh my god, I was today years old when I learned you were on Laid Bare. I went, I was like, oh god, I get fired in the morning. I was like, I need to go back for a new job. And then she, when I opened the message, it was a long message. She said, I absolutely love this for you. I think it's so you. Keep doing it. And I was just like, it was really nice.
No, I love that actually, because also as well, like, these young people who want careers like this, like, obviously you don't necessarily get there straight away, and you have to hold down a 9-to-5. So do you know what I mean? Like, like having that balance and having like a company that you work with that's okay with doing what you're doing is it's good.
All right, now we're going to get into the quick fire round.
Okay.
This is when at the party the aunties have surrounded you.
When are you getting married?
Thank you. There we go. Great. In one.
When you're making child.
This is it.
Okay.
And this is that literally is the first one. Is what is your relationship status? Are you single? Is there another half?
I'm single.
Why?
Single, or single complicated?
Single.
Hey. Do you need an auntie hug?
No. No, I'm single because I wasn't really ready to date for a while. Funny enough, as soon as I turned 30, you're going to hear a lot of that. As soon as I turned 30, I was like, I'm ready to date now, because I feel like I'm handling everything else. I'm ready to date again. A week after I turned 30, I met this guy. But then that just... It hasn't ended yet. We're in the ending process. Yeah, we're in the ending process.
Okay. So, are you a parent, or do you want to be a parent?
No, I'm not a mummy. I can't wait to be a parent. Honestly, I can't wait to be a mum. Like, I love children. I love, like, my nieces, my nephews, my godchildren. I absolutely adore them. So I can't wait to be like a proper mummy rather than just like the auntie.
So my next question was, what type of auntie are you?
I'm like the fun one. Like, I'll really argue with them like we're the same age. Like, I have a nephew that's 13. He thinks me and his mom were so embarrassing. And then I'll be looking at him like, but you're embarrassing. Like, be quiet. Why are you arguing with me? Like, we're that type. But then I haven't taken like my godchildren and my nieces and nephews out in a while. And I think about it all the time and it makes me feel so bad. But then they know that if they want something from me, most of the time they always get it.
So is there a time that you're going to go full auntie mode? Like, listen, I'm your auntie, man.
Do you know what? None of them have really done anything like that. But then I do have a nephew that's only 2 years younger than me.
Okay,
so me and him, when he comes to me and he's had a child, so when he like wants to talk about life and stuff, I do always give the disclaimer, listen, you're a grown man. Like, I know I can't tell you much. You have life experiences. However, and I can just give him my full auntie mode. And because we have such a respectful relationship, I feel like he definitely respects the things that I tell him. Yeah.
Love that.
Okay, so we are your favourite aunties.
You are my favourite aunties. You are.
And as your favourite aunties, we now want you to tell us something that you haven't told your mum or your dad or, you know.
Tell us your secret.
We want a proper secret.
The juicy
I want to
one.
know.
What's a secret? Do you know? Actually, I'm not gonna say that because I will get crucified.
That's exactly
You can change the names.
What do you mean?
Yeah, for legal purposes, but we want that.
Done.
Yeah. Tell them
You know, you always tell your aunties.
Yeah, you can tell us.
Okay, cool. So, my daddy won't see this, but since my dad engages in my content, sorry, dad, I'm really sorry. So the last time, my dad lives in Ghana now. So I think it was the last time I went to Ghana, like my dad goes to bed mad early. So it was one of those nights where, imagine, I've been in Ghana 3 weeks plus, I'm tired, I've been partying every day. But then there's a guy, a UK guy, he was also still in Ghana at the same time as me.
And so
I was just like, I was like, let me check the Uber. I was like, 25 minutes at this time of the night, because you know Ghana traffic is crazy. So it was like 12:30. Listen, this was like a movie. So my dad had locked the gate. Imagine, Ghanaians are so like dramatic with the gate. So like the front door, there's a gate. So imagine, I'm like, we've arranged to see each other. I'm like, cool. Go to the door, there's a padlock, Jesus. I'm like, and there's an ironing board that randomly sits in the hallway, the keys were on there. So I went, took the keys, put the padlock back, snuck out the gate, ran to the top of the road, got an Uber, and then I went and had sex with this guy. It was, oh God, it was so good. You know who he is? And unfortunately, he's not on the roster anymore. But,
but it's okay.
It's alright.
Did you remove him?
Did I remove him from the roster?
Did he do something?
No, he didn't. Like, you know, some people, do you know what gives you the ick? I don't like a guys who friend up people too much. Like, everyone's your friend. You know, all the bait people. Like, I don't like stuff like that. Ew.
How did you get back in?
How did I get back in? Listen, I waited until the next morning and I was hoping I could sneak back in because my dad would have been dropping my stepmom to her job, so the gate would have been unlocked. And then my older sister lives in my dad's house, right? And then as I'm walking in through the gate, all I hear is, oh yeah, like she's coming through the gate. And I was like, oh my God. Listen, I just went to my room. I went, Dad, I'm tired. I'm just going to sleep for a little bit. Just escape that conversation.
That's a good one. Thank you very much.
Okay, now you need to redeem yourself. Like, tell us something that we're going to be proud of. Like, big yourself up.
Something that you're going to be proud of is, do you know what? I've never actually said this anywhere, you know. For me, beating depression.
Wow.
Yeah. Because I was depressed for like such a long time and I didn't know I was depressed for that long. I'm talking years. So from like 2016, 17 up until possibly like a year ago. It was something that was very hard for me to talk about. Like I did the counselling, I did the therapy, and then just cutting out certain things just in my life, like things that I found toxic, situations, relationships, friendships, like some of those things didn't end on my term, but then it was one of those things I had to pray on it because I don't always have time to go to church on a Sunday, but one thing I do is I pray a lot. Like I pray a lot. I always put things to God. Even when I'm in my car, I'm like, oh Lord, take this one, and I'm being dead serious, like Jesus, please take this one. Like hold it down for me. So for me, that's what it was. Like, I've cried, I've prayed, I've left it, I put it out there into the universe. Between me and my four walls and Jesus Christ, like, I put it out there. And like I said, since my birthday, I feel a lot lighter. And I always just pray that it continues. Even when I feel like I'm stressed and there's too many things going on. Like, I finish work at 5, I have to go studio for 7. I won't get home till 11. Wake up the next day, it's too much. But then I give it to God, because if God didn't want me to do this, I wouldn't be doing it. Simple as that.
Oh, bless you.
Amazing.
Thank you for sharing that.
No problem.
No problem. The next one is yours. I put my name next to it. So.
Are you actually, just quickly, are you still continuing with the therapy?
Not at the moment.
Okay.
And the thing is, because I actually practice doing systemic therapy with families, it holds as a huge reflection point for me. So even sometimes, like, some things that I may not resolve in like a conventional type of way, so like just knowing how to like just stop and leave things, that's just how I deal with that.
Recognizing stuff.
Just recognizing it, taking accountability, because I would never do that before. Like, I wouldn't say sorry. I wouldn't be like, let's talk about this, but
what's a family saying that you hold dear, or a family saying that you heard growing up that you want to reject in your life?
You want to reject? So you know when, like, not a family saying, but then you know when there's always fingers and always blame. You're not like this because of this person. You're not like this because of that.
Let go of that one.
I just leave that. Like I said, I leave it to God. I'm not gonna compare myself to nobody. And like, especially in African families, it's like, oh, you should have done this like this, and then look at that person, they're now married and they've now had children, and you're still are you not earning this much yet? Blah blah. But first of all, did you even ask me how my job was going? You see stuff like that. But I just all those direct questions, I put it to the side.
Do you have a problem that you need us aunties to solve?
Do you know what? Yes. So this is, do you know, I'm just gonna say it anyway. I always speak my truth. So I always said that, like, when you're dating, it's important to date somebody who's like sort of the same level as you. When I say the same level, like, things in mindset, you might have like 80% of the same interest, but then you both have like similar work ethics and whatnot. I actually said on the borough section that maybe sometimes we might need to bring that down. I followed my own advice and I'm not happy now, but like I'm not happy now. So do you guys think that, you know, sometimes you can do that? Like, you can sort of like date somebody, you might not be, you know, 100% like there. You might look at someone and be like, oh, you might need to fix this up and just give it a chance. 100%. Or you don't completely give them chances.
In the past, I would say that I've dated good looking guys that are very dumb. I knew and I was fully aware. Do you know what I mean? 100%.
That is funny.
100%.
I don't think there's any success in that for women. I think I really believe that eventually it will catch up with you. So short term, you absolutely could date somebody who is earning less, is less intelligent, but I don't think that lasts into a relationship. I think generally the man, it's not about potential. They need to be where they are or ahead of you, and then that's when you get with them. I don't think it works for women to date down because of their egos and the way society is set up. Eventually they will try and bring you down so that you're lesser than them.
Yeah, but there was a conversation, wasn't there, in socials about someone, it was going to be a story that we did, was saying that how men actually understand, or do we have that conversation about how men are not dateable when they're not happy with themselves? And it's always projected onto women that we're, you know, want too much, we're gold diggers, all that type of stuff, and we're difficult and we're not supportive. But actually, men, are you even dateable when you're not happy with yourself, or you're not ready, or you're not at the level that you want to be? So the woman that's trying to accommodate someone that's not potentially at the man's best, it doesn't. I don't think it works. I don't think anyway.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, no.
She's out there.
Wide berth, yeah.
Yeah, I think it can fester a lot of insecurities on the other side. So I think your first point about dating someone who you have a lot in common with, you can grow, and you can, you know, maybe they'll teach you some things, you can teach them some things, because I don't think everything's ever 50-50 or 100. I don't ever think that. But dating 100%, dating down, if you know you're dating down, you might go into it with some ego as well.
Yeah.
And then that could then affect the other person.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's what I started seeing about myself, and I didn't like it because I'm not like intentionally a disrespectful person. But then if I feel like I'm starting to be snap because of those types of things, I'm like, okay, cool.
And then the other thing is you expect them to do things that they're not capable of.
Yeah.
So that's
or can't keep up with. Oh, let's go here, and they're thinking I literally have £50 to take me to Friday, and you want me to spend all of that £50, and I'm going to be
it might not even be financial.
No, I'm just saying as an example, like they may actually not be able to keep up with your lifestyle.
Absolutely. It might just be mentally, like they might not be smart. They might not be smart. You have a conversation with them and they don't get it.
And that too.
When you get a train to hear what, how? Like,
I think for fun,
basics.
Life skills. I don't think there's nothing wrong with that for fun, mate.
Yeah.
Seriously. Just like as Auntie Nana said, not long term, but short term. As long as you know what it is and you know you have an understanding of who they are and what they can actually even bring to the table, if anything. Because they might just be good looking.
Because you know Latto has a bar in her song, It's Giving.
I don't know that.
Yeah.
I bring the table to the table.
Yes.
And I can't lie, I'm
Yeah.
I'm very confident about it because I feel like I've been doing this thing where, oh no, it's not that bad. And I'm like, no, this ain't gonna work for me no more.
I don't want to have like this called Florence Nightingale syndrome. I'm not trying to save anybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No.
Alrighty. Thank you, young cuz. That was nice. Now we're going to quickly get into what's made us sad, mad and glad this week. Cousin Nikki, what's made you sad, mad and glad this week?
What's made me sad is the fact that I feel like I'm coming down with a cold.
No, that's making me sad.
That's what's making me sad. What's made me glad? We just filmed a really sick couple episodes of the Borough section that's coming out. So we did that earlier on this week. What's made me mad? I don't know what made me mad. Nothing's really made me mad, you know, and I like that. That's because I can moan and I can complain. So I like that nothing's made me mad. Yeah.
Excellent.
That's good.
Auntie Farah.
I'm sad. I'm always sad about the weather. I'm going to use that one again. I'm like really sad and miserable that it's this season and like I just can see the coldness coming. I can feel the snow coming and it's just making me really. We're definitely getting snow and I'm scared. I'm not gonna lie, I'm scared. What's made me mad is my fucking neighbour upstairs. Like I literally feel like I want to beat this woman down and I hope she hears this shit. Like real violence. No, real talk. My neighbour upstairs, she is playing her music 24 hours a day. And it's like radio, and it's different. It's like it goes from the God channel. It's like it's serious. And then what she started to do, because I was like, okay, cool, you're playing music. I'm not okay, fine. But it's been going on for 6 years. But what she started to do now is she started to have like seances and banging at like 3 o'clock in the morning. My niece stayed at my house last night, and she woke up and she was like, Auntie, I can't stay in that room anymore. Can you get me a cab to my mum's house? I had to come out of my bed, let her sleep in my bed, so I could go and sleep in my daughter's room because the neighbour upstairs is doing the most. I caught her the other day and I was like to her, look, you can't do this. Then she started telling me things like, oh, the people, they're tapping in. So I think she's losing her mind.
I was just about to say, she sounds like
I think that it's happened now. Like, it wasn't before, but I feel like it is. But either way, I've asked you, please, I beg, like, turn your shit down, stop your banging. So that's made me mad. As you can see, it's made me very mad. I wouldn't really do violence on her. It's just, I have to think it through in my head to get over it. That's where I'm at with her. And other thing that I'm mad about, I actually reported her to the sound police and they said, no, it's not a nuisance. It is a nuisance!
It is a nuisance.
Anyway, that's what's made me mad. What's made me glad is that you're on here because I really love you and
thank you.
You're such an inspiration and you look beautiful.
Oh, thanks.
And I didn't know all the extra things that you did, like, you know, like gone to university and you work with children. I just think it's amazing. I think you're really a very amazing young lady.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks to you. Thanks for coming on.
Yes.
Thank you. Auntie Nana.
Okay, so I'm sad about the floods in Nigeria, and it took me a while to even hear about this story, and it's absolutely flabbergasting. So far, it's like 600 people have died, millions are displaced, and they don't think it's going to subside for another 3 weeks. So it's actually like proper catastrophe. But again, it's not getting the appeals, or nobody's really talking about this. So yeah, my heart goes out to Nigeria at this moment in time. I'm super mad. My son's school, for the 2nd year running, has done nothing for Black History Month. Nothing. Last year, I took you guys' advice and I did write in, sent a letter, like, you know, if anything's happening in October, like, you can let me know. Again, they didn't. I took my finger off the ball because busyness, and then it's got to the end of the month and still nothing has taken place. So that actually has made me mad. This time I am going to demand a meeting with the head teacher, because it's just not on. The school is probably about 55% black. And to educate everybody else in the school, I think it's important that you just spend a bit of time kind of celebrating culture. So yeah, that's made me mad. I'm super glad. So again, last week, Jazzy B came into my shop.
Nice!
Jazzy B, I'm such a fan of Jazzy B and Soul to Soul. Soul to Soul. Huge inspirations to me and my fashion business. Like, when he came in, he said, I was driving past and I saw a t-shirt in the window, and the t-shirt was one of my t-shirts. And so he parked up in front of the shop and came in and bought one of my t-shirts.
Oh, no.
I had to make it in his size. So I happened to be in the shop when he came to collect it.
Wow.
And he was like, I came past the shop and it reminded me of my shop from the 80s. I had tears in my eyes. I was like, you know what? I went to your shop when I was 8 or 9 years old. My sister took me, walked around and was like, I have to have a shop like this one day.
Wow.
And his collection and everything. And then he was looking through my t-shirts. He was like, I see it. And I was like, honestly, I can't even believe I'm meeting you. But he had to rush off, and my son was up watching me as I'm like gushing over this man. He was like, oh mummy, look what happened. I was like, that guy is literally my hero.
Oh, that's amazing.
So,
that's inspiration coming into
That's beautiful.
effect.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. And he was like, keep it going. And I was telling him, like, as he was walking out the door, we're having problems with the landlord. He was like, keep it going, keep going. So yeah, that means so much.
We got Charlie, can you get through your sad bad glads quickly?
Yeah, so my sad is basically I'm working on a project for Halloween, which is not something, being an African child, it's not something we celebrated in the home growing up. And then also that I had to do this presentation. I had to search pictures of spiders. Your favourite. I was like, literally, it was torture. And like, I really have a condition. I have arachnophobia. Honestly, because I was nearly in tears, like scrolling through these pictures of spiders. It was just ridiculous. So yeah, I was very sad about that. I don't really have a mad, but my glad is, which I forgot to mention, that I actually met Stephen Bartlett. Glad Techless. Yeah, I did. And it was really cool. And he was really cool and really nice. So
Lovely.
That's amazing.
That conversation we had, but yeah.
I don't have a sad. My mad is lazy black history month posters in organisation in buildings. I'm still seeing Mary Seacole and Martin Luther King. I think we should, in 2022, we can move on. And I think it's lazy. I'm not discounting their legacy, but we can move on. And there are other things. And my glad is hosted Q&A of Till. That's coming out. It's about Emmett Till. It is traumatic, but it's a brilliant film. I hosted the Q&A for BAFTA. It was really good, and I invited 40 filmmakers to the premiere at London Film Festival. And just generally, London Film Festival was a really successful collaboration of some of the things I did with the British Blacklist. So I'm really happy about that. Glad about that. And that's it. We have to go. This is been your Aunties Could Never. Thank you, cousin Nikki.
Thank you.
And thank you to my wonderful aunties. It's always great doing this show with you guys.
Yes.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Leave all the comments, all the positive comments only.
Please.
We have a Patreon.
It's £5, £10, and £25
for more sweetness. And that's it. We'll be back next week.
Bye bye now.
Bye.